Hi class. So in this set of PowerPoint slides, I'm going to talk about how to write a strong thesis statement. And I also want you to know that if you want to print out these PowerPoint slides for yourself, there is a PDF version of them right below this video, so you can print them out and study them and help you with your class. So the first step in that you're going to take to put together a thesis statement is the reason why you write a thesis is to give your readers an idea of your position and what point you want to make. An important fact you want to consider is to think about your point before you actually try to write it down. A good way for you to know what you want to say is to go back and look at your notes. So your notes that you take from the videos in the modules, the readings, and also from in-class presentations are very important for you because they will help you gather your ideas so you can talk about the position you want to take and what point you want to make about the essay topic. So what's your position? Your position is not your opinion. Your position is what you want your readers to believe based on facts that you have gathered from your reading. Your position must include an argument and it must take on a side. So please note that you cannot argue one side if you don't have a side. You must choose. So you can't be halfway. You can't say, well, can I look at this particular topic from two positions? And you can't. You have to either take one side or the other. So your thesis statement must have that side built into it. So it's really important that you know what side you want to take. So step 2, once you decide on what position you want to take, you need to formulate 1 or 2 sentences that will convince your readers to understand your point of view or position. Your position must be so strong that it can be supported by several facts or evidences. If there are not facts or evidence to support your position, then it isn't strong. You will not write a thesis that can stand the support of the paper, and your paper will be weak. So you have to be very careful here that you need to look before you say something and before you take a stand. Do I have evidence to support what I'm saying? So if you don't have any evidence to support what you're saying, if you don't have facts, then you can't invent them. And then you will not be able to present that thesis. So you would have to reword your thesis so that it has facts or evidence to support your ideas. So what a thesis is not? A thesis cannot be a yes or no question or any question. So you can't put a question for a thesis. A thesis cannot be stating one fact. A thesis cannot summarize a fact. A thesis cannot be more than 2 sentences. A thesis cannot merely express your opinion. A thesis cannot be too narrow, meaning that you only focus on one aspect of your ideas. A thesis cannot be too broad, meaning that you focus outside the topic at hand. So a thesis is never a question. So please get that in your mind. If you just state a fact and you think that that's your thesis, it's not. If you just try to summarize a fact, that's not a thesis either. A thesis cannot be more than 2 sentences, so you can't spend a whole paragraph writing a thesis statement. A thesis cannot merely express your opinion, and a thesis can't be too narrow and it can't be too broad. So think about those things as you're putting together your thesis. So where does the thesis go? Since your thesis is the point of why you are writing your essay and your thesis is the basis of your evidence, your thesis must go in the beginning of the essay. It should either be in the first sentence of your essay in the introduction or the last 1 or 2 sentences of your introduction. You should make an outline before you write your draft of your essay. This way you can have a map of your ideas, and I have several outlines and videos in this module on how to put together an outline. So you do want to have an outline. So remember, your thesis is just your point and your position, but you don't want to wait too long to present that to your audience, and because you don't want them to guess, and you also want to make sure that it comes early on so that your audience is prepared for all the evidence and facts that you are going to use to support your ideas. So step 3, now that you have an idea of what you want to say in your thesis, you should think about the support you have for your thesis. The support can be the evidence you have gathered from your reading or research. So all the support that you have for your thesis, you should look at it and make sure that your thesis covers all that support that you're talking about. So how to write your thesis sentence. You should craft your words with persuasive language that will hold the attention of your reader. You can use emotional words, but they shouldn't be too emotional. Your thesis must try to convince your readers of your position and point of view. You need to make a stand and expect that your readers will see your point of view or position. Your thesis is a statement. So it's a statement and it's a stand that you're making. And you want to be very clear about that. So test your thesis. Once you write your thesis statement, test it out. Ask yourself, does this statement make a convincing argument of my position? Do your best to read it over again and revise it. Remember, you can always have a working thesis, one in which you can change after you write your outline and your draft. So your thesis in the beginning isn't etched in stone, because you may have a thesis, a working thesis, and then you write your draft and your outline, and then you go back and you realize that your thesis is not strong enough to support all your ideas. Well, that's fine. You can always revise it before you turn your paper in. So that's called testing your thesis, to make sure that it's fully covers all of your ideas. So here's some final thoughts on thesis. Try to set a lot of time to write your essay. Make sure you have good notes. This is probably the most important part, to make sure that you have good notes, because your notes are the beginnings of your writing. Your notes are your own words and work, and you may include them in your thesis or your essay as well. So because you've written those ideas, you can use them. Don't stress. Just let your words do the work for you, and good luck. So I hope these PowerPoint slides have helped you try to figure out how you want to proceed to write your essay for your class, and to put together your ideas for your thesis statement. Okay, that's the end of this PowerPoint presentation.